Hey everybody, I'm Eric the Reptile Guy, and today we're going to discover bullfrogs.
Both hands up, both hands.
We're here now in the habitat of the North American bullfrog, and there's one right there. I remember when I was a kid, I used to catch them. It brings back so many memories. It's the coolest thing ever. Bullfrogs are native to North America and can be found from Florida to as far north as Canada. The natural habitat of the bullfrog includes clean, fresh water, which is becoming more and more rare nationwide. Bullfrogs also share habitat with turtles, snakes, birds, and many other creatures that love to live in wetlands. If we're lucky, we'll have a chance to find bullfrogs with all of our friends. Now it's time to meet up with our friends. Today, we're going to discover the North American bullfrog, scientifically known as Rana catespiana. We're going to take our friends here on Long Island to go to a swamp where the bullfrog lives, and we're going to have an awesome time. You guys ready to have some fun? Yeah! Have a great time. Today we're going to actually discover bullfrogs. Now, who knows what a bullfrog is? Raise your hand. Who knows what a bullfrog is? Mia, what's a bullfrog?
It's a frog.
It's a frog? Okay, it's a frog. We know it's a frog. Thousands of species of frogs worldwide. And there are 3 species of bullfrogs, including the South American bullfrog, the African bullfrog, and of course, the North American bullfrog. Before heading out on our adventure, the children and I take a look at maps to see exactly where we could find frogs right here on Long Island. So they live all along here. So I want you guys to say a word, okay? On the count of 3, we're all going to say it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Everybody say native species.
Native species.
That means that it's found here. And so there's some species that are not from here. Those would be considered invasive species. Invasive species sounds like a really crazy word, but really what it means is it's an animal that was actually introduced to a place and sort of took over. In some places in the United States, bullfrogs have taken over, like in places like California, where they're not native to, where they affect other animals. Or there's another word I like a little bit better, it's called non-native species. So an invasive species would be one that takes over completely, but a non-native species would be kind of like hanging out with the other species, just chilling out with all the rest of them, like we're going to see in a little while. But they live all along the East Coast. This is where we're going to find all bullfrogs, all the way down to like Florida. You can find bullfrogs. And does anybody know how big they get? Anyone know how big they get? How big do they get? Let's see. How about someone else? Ariana.
About a foot.
Yeah, they get like a foot long. They get like this big. When I was a kid, I used to catch them, and you know how big they were? They were like the size of like footballs, like seriously. Frogs start their life off in the water, and there are 4 stages to frog life cycles. What does a tadpole do when it changes? What is it called? What's the change called? Dane, what's it called?
They metamorphosize.
Metamorphosize or metamorphosis. So everybody on the count of 3 say metamorphosis. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is when an animal actually changes from when it's a baby until it's an adult. Bullfrogs, and all frogs for that matter, most frogs, will actually change from the time they're born from a tadpole into a frog. They actually grow back legs and arms, and their tails actually shrink into their body during a period of time which they cannot eat at all. It's the coolest thing ever, and we may even get a chance to see some tadpoles in the process of metamorphosis. A baby frog is called a tadpole. And then one before that is called a froglet. Very good. And then the one after that is called It's just a frog. Yeah, it's just a frog. So. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this frog right here. Here's actually actual bullfrog. This is an actual bullfrog. Now, if you look at this frog right here, you'll notice there's a couple of cool features. Does anybody know what that is right there? Does anybody know what it is? What's it called, George?
Tympanic membrane.
Tympanic membrane. Very good. Everybody say tympanic membrane.
Tympanic membrane.
It's like having a drum on your head. Everybody go like that to your head, but not too hard, like that. So it's like having a drum on your head, and that's actually how the frogs hear. Every frog that can hear with the tympanic membrane has a different frequency of sound that they can hear. So every frog has a different one. So this bullfrog hears a sound that goes like this. You guys are all gonna make the sound right now. It goes Everyone make that sound. That's the actual sound of the bullfrog, and they can hear it with the tympanic membrane. That's how they know other frogs are around, and then that's how the females know the frogs are there, and they lay all their eggs, and then we have all the tadpoles like we're going to see today in just a little while. Now there's one really, really important thing I want to tell you about frogs, but we're going to look at our frog model right now to give you all the details about the anatomy of the frog. Now, we won't be able to see the inside of the frog today, but we're going to still do the anatomy lesson. Hey everybody, welcome to our frog anatomy lesson. This is going to be the coolest lesson ever because we're going to learn all about the anatomy of frogs, and we don't have to use a live frog to do it because this is our frog right here, our frog model. So we're going to do it right now, but we're not going to do it with a real frog. We're going to do it with a fake frog. Now check this out, guys. Frogs are one of the coolest amphibians, and we want to make sure that we always protect them by using plastic models, so not using live animals. This is actually a frog model. This is not a bullfrog frog model. This is actually a model of a Pine Barrens tree frog, but it's the same anatomy on the inside. So we're not focused on the outside, we're going to focus on the inside. So if you look there, you can see from the side, that's the inside clear part, and you can see all the different guts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take them apart, and we're going to see all the inside components of the frog. Now, if you take a look, guys, these are all the inner workings of the frog, all the different organs that the frogs have. There's the lungs right there. There's the skeleton. So here, I got a question. Who knows, is a frog a vertebrate or invertebrate?
Vertebrae.
It's a vertebrate because you know why? It has bones. Take a look at this. This is actually the backbone of the frog. Frogs have a backbone. So everybody pat your backbone. The backbone is right there, and that actually helps to protect them. So you can see on their backbone, they have special bumps called vertebrae. Vertebrae are so important because without vertebrae, guess what? You can't function because all your nerves are inside there. Let's look on this for a quick second. This frog, this one's a female, so she doesn't have vocal sacs. So when we go to the swamp and we go see the frogs there, you're going to notice that there's going to be some with yellow throats and some with non-yellow throats. The ones with non-yellow throats are usually females, unless it's a really, really young male. They'll all have yellow throats when they become mature. And you'll know it's a bullfrog because you see that right there? See that right there? The noise we just made? Everybody do it again. That noise that they make actually is heard by that. Now everybody point to your ears. And everybody say tympanic membrane.
Tympanic membrane.
That's like the membrane that they use that vibrates that allows the frogs to actually hear the sounds. And so that's how they hear, by using the tympanic membrane. And the bullfrog, you see this like little fold right there over the eye, like over the ear, like that little fold right there? The bullfrog has that. We're going to see another frog there, most likely called a green frog, that won't have this fold like that. It's going to have a line going down either side of the back, so you'll know that that's a green frog. So your job today is you guys are going to help identify the frogs as we find them, whether it's a male, whether it's a female, whether it's a green frog, or whether it's a bullfrog. Children were so interested in what they were learning, and one of the most important lessons they learned today was to make sure you always respect nature. This is why it's really best that if you go into nature and you see them out there, it's much better because then they're going to live a long time, they're going to get really big, and then they'll survive and they'll get to reproduce and add something positive to the environment. Otherwise, then you just have a dead frog in a tank and that's no fun. Right? Is that fun? Do you think that's fun? No, it's not fun. It's not fun. So anyway, so you guys want to see the first frog before we go to the swamp?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to see a frog, who can tell me what noise does a bullfrog make? George. That's exactly right. Good job, George. Good job. Good job. So everybody do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Actually, it's a little bit deeper. It's like. Everybody do that. All right, good. So it's like that, and then they puff their throats out. They have vocal sacs. So now, before we take them all the way apart, I have a question: is a frog a vertebrate or invertebrate? All right, Francesca.
Vertebrae.
Vertebrate. It's a vertebrate because if you're a vertebrate, what do you have?
Bones.
Bones. Now, if you go like that, guys, pat your chest like that, you have ribs that connect like that. If you're a frog, your ribs only are on the top. They have short ribs that protect their inner organs. So the important inner organs, including their heart and their lungs, which we're going to see right now. Now, here are the lungs of the frog and the heart. The heart and lungs are so important because without the heart and lungs, guys, the heart is really important because it pumps the blood through their body. And so as it's pumping the blood through their body, they get all the nutrients and the oxygen and all the things that help the frog to move, and their lungs actually help them too. breathe in and out, just like that. And their lungs and their body work continuously to help keep the frog alive. Now, the last thing we're gonna take a look at, guys, is gonna be the stomach. Now, if you're hungry, you can feel your stomach growling. Well, there's the frog's stomach right there. That stomach actually helps to digest all the bugs and things like that like to eat, and a digestive soup of acid that helps to digest it. So the following day, the frog can actually go to the bathroom, and then all the plants in the pond where the frog lives absorb all the nutrients and keep everything going. It's all about the balance of nature, you guys, and that's the anatomy of the frog. And the last thing we're going to look at is, let's see, this part right here. Does anybody know what this is right here? Does anybody know what it is? What is it?
It's like the eggs.
Yes, it's the eggs. Without the eggs, guess what happens? They can't reproduce, and that's the end of it. That's the end of the species. So they have to be able to reproduce. They need all these eggs. And you know how many eggs they have inside them? Thousands of eggs. There's some frogs that can lay 10,000 eggs at one time. The bullfrog lays hundreds of eggs at one time. It's really incredible. So that's what we're going to get to see today.
Hey, Dr. Calendar, are bullfrogs an endangered species?
Are bullfrogs endangered species? No, they're not endangered species. However, frogs worldwide are becoming endangered everywhere because of a special fungus called chytrid fungus. I'll say it again. Chytrid fungus. Like a fungus on your toe if you have to get athlete's foot. But anyway, so yes, they're not endangered. To answer your question, they're not endangered. But again, frogs worldwide are going to need help. So we should start right now with the bullfrog.
Dr. Calendar, do bullfrogs lay eggs?
Bullfrogs lay eggs. The answer is yes. They lay thousands of eggs. They lay so many eggs. Oh my gosh, there's so many. As a matter of fact, they lay the eggs in the water, and that's just before they go to metamorphosis. Remember Eric was talking about that earlier today? Yes, the bullfrogs lay eggs.
Dr. Calendar, how do bullfrogs make sounds?
Well, bullfrogs make all kinds of sounds because every frog can make a different sound. Now, not all frogs can make sounds, but bullfrogs do. And the sound goes something like this. Actually, oh my gosh, I remember when I was down at the swamp, I was with Eric, and Eric was making the sounds. Eric the reptile guy was making the sounds like brr, brr, brr. And then the frog was doing it too. Oh my gosh, it was listening to the same sound as Eric. Because you know why? Because frogs hear different frequencies of sound. It's the frequency. So if it's a low frequency, it'll be like brr. If it's a high frequency, it'll be like whoa. So yeah, it's all about the frequency and the sound.
Dr. Calendar, how far can bullfrogs jump?
How far can frogs jump? Well, here's a ruler, and you know what? A bullfrog, I've seen him do this. I've seen him do it many times. A bullfrog is about 5 inches. I've seen him jump at least 25 inches. That's 5 times the length of their body. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, goodness. I gotta call Younger Janine. There's the Eric and them are going on that frog hunt.
Hey, Dr. Calendar.
Hey, I'm wondering if you can help us get some supplies for the frogs. Eric, the reptile guy, is going to look for frogs with the kids.
Oh boy, that's gonna be fun. Well, the first thing you need some kind of a critter keeper so you can see the bullfrog after you catch him. Then, in order to catch him, you're gonna need a very large net, because remember, the bullfrogs are the largest frog in North America. Now, don't forget to wear the proper clothing and have everybody wear boots so they can get wet in the water. And don't forget also that they want to keep their hands nice and clean and have them be a little wet so that they don't hurt the bullfrog. And if you need proper permits, that might be something you want as well.
Okay, thank you. They're going to have a great time looking for them frogs.
Oh, anytime, Dr. Calendar, anytime.
And Are you guys ready to actually see the frogs? Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready? So we're gonna go to the swamp and we're gonna go get to see frogs. We're gonna get muddy and wet and dirty, and it's gonna be so much fun. So you guys ready for that?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
We will answer nature's call. We'll connect to creatures great and small.
We're now here at one of the coolest bullfrog ponds that I've ever been to, but there's 3 species of frogs here that we might see today. We're gonna see green frogs, pickerel frogs, and the big bullfrog that we've been wanting to see for a while. And our kids are gonna help us find it and see if we can identify which frog is the bullfrog, green frog, or pickerel frog. Let's see right now, let's go. The important thing with frogs is that, remember guys, the tadpoles, they have gills right now, so you can't leave them out of the water too long. If you leave them out of the water too long, then they'll die. So you have to make sure, like when we do this, we're gonna do this quickly, and we're gonna scoop up some water. So everybody first get your hands like that, and then wet your hands like that. Wet your hands. That way if you guys want to touch it, then the water is actually touching the frog, is the same water from the pond. Now if your hands actually touch the frog, and you don't wash your hands like that, your salt from your hands can dehydrate the frog and kill it. I've seen it happen before where like you're excited, like, oh my God, look what I've caught, look what I've caught. And you hold it too long, the next minute you open your hands, oh no, it's dead, and it's too late.
I can't.
All right, did I get one? I got some, guys. I got 3, all in one scoop. We got 3 in one scoop. Now, who's gonna be the hand scooper? Whose hands are gonna be? All right, who has big hands? Because we have 3 tadpoles. Or we can do, the 3 of you guys. 3, Isan, you wanna do one? So you do one, you do one, and you do one. Now just scoop water in your hands like that. Go like this, and go like that, okay? And we got 3 tadpoles, so we can each get one. All right, guys, so here. Here it is, one for Francesca.
Oh, great.
All right. Here, one for Chloe and one for Isan. All right, guys, look. Now put your hand. Now make sure the water doesn't go out of your hands. Otherwise, you're gonna suffocate. Oh, no way! Oh, this is awesome, George. Good job, George. Everybody give a big hand for George catching the next frog. That was awesome. All right, guys, so check this out. Check this out, guys. Now look at this one. This one's different. This one is actually, all right, what others? We said we're gonna find 3 species today. The pickerel frog. It's not the pickle frog. It's the green frog. The green frog, exactly. Now look at this one. Now if you look at it, guys, the green frog, let's just put a little bit of water in here. And you know what, hold on, I'm gonna take, hold on a second. Nope. No, maybe not yet, hold on a second.
She's really jumpy.
She's really jumpy, hold on a second. Let's get so we can see through the container. Now guys, now if you look really clearly, guys, you can see, remember I was telling you about along the ear, that there's a line. You see that it's not wrapped around? You see it's different, that's why this one's a green frog. Now look guys, this is the difference between the bullfrog. Now look guys, you can see clearly. You see there, look at the ear. You see if you compare with the size of the head, is it bigger or smaller?
Smaller.
The ear.
Oh, that's bigger.
The ear, like if you compare the size of their head to the ear on their head is bigger. And then look at the line. You see that line I was telling you about? And guys, look, check this out. You see the throat puffing out? Is that a male or female?
Male.
Yes, it's a male frog, so that's how you can tell the difference. And these guys stay a lot smaller than the bullfrog, so that's the main difference.
Who's that guy from?
That's
slimy.
Let's get some more.
All right, guys. Water snakes and bullfrogs share the same environment, however, not in perfect harmony. Eastern water snakes are a natural predator of young frogs. When the frogs get a bit older, the tables are turned and the snakes are dinner for frogs. If you look at the scales, guys, I want you guys to feel it, guys. You guys can feel it. Just touch it. It has keeled scales. You can feel the scales. It's like a screen. It's like rough. And so it's different. Like for example, garter snakes have keeled scales also, but if a milk snake, like my friend Kelly found in her yard, those have smooth scales, but these aren't smooth. They're keeled. So it's very much like a rattlesnake or a venomous snake, but it's not venomous. It's a mimic. It's so awesome. This is awesome, guys.
Look at the bottom.
So you see, like right here, if you look at the tail, they tell males from females by doing scale counts of the base of the tail. Oh, okay. So if they have less scales, then it's a female. More scales is a male. And so the males usually have longer tails. Now, I'm just gonna go like that, and yeah, she's getting a little bit antsy. And so usually, like when they start doing like that, if you're not careful, they can start to bite you. But if you just go slowly, and then just let them calm down, then usually you'll be okay. So there's a possibility by doing this, she could bite me, but I prefer to like hold them like this, because when you hold them like that, then it's less stress for them. You know what I mean? And they're just totally chilling out. You know, so she's chilling out. So here, just gently, because she's very aware. Like we're all watching her and stuff like that. Wow, guys, this is so cool. She's probably lived there all her life, and she beat the odds, guys. When this snake's born, you know how small it is. This snake is like the size of the tail when they're born. Like that's it. Like that's how small they are. Like this big. So for her to get this size and not get eaten by something or killed and survive, it's like they beat the odds. So to take it home and put it in a cage, it's like it's kind of not fair to the snake. It's better to like always leave it as you found it, because then like you know when they beat the odds like that, it's like you know they deserve to like be free. So you know just let them free. You know, when you're calm, they stay calm. Here.
Eric, I want to touch. I found a tadpole. I don't. It's probably.
That one's the green frog. Remember, we're looking for the bullfrog tadpole, guys.
Put it back.
That's a green frog one.
Put it back.
Remember, it's a smaller one.
Be free.
That one's a green frog too.
Eric, I think I found one.
This is a bullfrog, guys. This is a bullfrog tadpole. This is exactly one. So everybody, give a big hand for Gabriella. She got it. This is awesome, guys. This is awesome. Yep, this is a North American bullfrog tadpole.
I was just like taking the net and just walking around with it. And then I found it.
Well, you know what? Scientists actually do that. They do transect. So a transect is when you go in one straight line through an area, and you go along, and whatever you catch as you go along, that's your transect. And so you almost did like a scientific thing called a transect, where you find a specific species along the way, and you found this bullfrog tadpole along the way because of what you were doing. So that's awesome. So, and you can see this one actually has back legs already. So you see the back legs coming in?
Yeah.
And if you look in the front, there's little pouches in the front for the front legs. So the front legs are now developing in the pouches in the legs, and they're actually going to start to pop out very soon. And then once those front legs pop out, the frog can't eat anymore. So right now it can still eat like the algae that it eats, but once the front legs pop out, it can't eat anymore, and it uses all the energy from the tail to get all its food. Guys, I got one! I got it! Which frog do you guys remember this frog is? All right, Mia, which frog is it?
Bullfrog?
It's a bullfrog. And why is it a bullfrog? What did I explain to you guys about the bullfrog?
Because it has those folds on
its, remember what it is?
membrane?
Yes, the membrane, the tympanic membrane. Yes, it has this fold along the tympanic membrane, so that makes it a bullfrog. Now, I told you guys something else. Now, everybody give a big hand for Mia for getting that right. That was awesome. She has the peace frog on. Now, the next part is so this frog right here, is it a male or a female? Francesca?
It's male.
It's a male. Almost right, but it's not a male. Because, now George, why is it not a male?
Because it doesn't have yellow on its.
Yes, remember the yellow. Yeah, so the yellow throat is the male. The male has a vocal sac that can puff out that big. The female doesn't have that. So this is the female. And if you look at the color of the female, usually they're like this kind of color brown. So that's the difference between the male and the female. Now, who remembers about the eyes of the frog? Like, what's important about the eyes? Dane.
They can use them to chew their food?
Yes, they can use them to sort of chew their food, to push the food down. So watch, guys. Now, this doesn't hurt the frog, but if you see the eyeballs, they bulge out. If I push the eye down just a little bit like that, very gently, it goes all the way inside the mouth. Now, if you guys want, I want you guys to look at the frog and point out some features of things that you might want to know about the frog. So, who wants to ask the question? Let's see, who wants to ask the question? Let's see, Dane.
The webbed feet.
The webbed feet. So, what do you want to know about the webbed feet? What about the webbed feet? What do you think they're used for?
Like pushing the water?
Yeah, for pushing the water. So this frog, literally, just when we caught it just now, it was stuck in all the weeds, but it actually pushes the water with the webbed feet. So you can see how big the webs are. This frog can jump about like 6 times the length of its body in one jump. That would be like if you could jump from here out of the pond in one jump. Oh, hip bones, here. You can see there, guys. Look, these are the hip bones of the frog, would actually help the frog to jump even further. So those bones are really stationary and strong. So frogs are able to jump really high just like that because they have these really strong hip bones. And the webbed feet help it swim, but the legs, the power from the legs, you can see the legs, they actually help it to move like that. No hands, no hands.
I want to go grab my.
Here, check them out.
I want to touch.
All right, guys, so here, and you can see her with her eyes open.
Yeah, that was.
All right, guys. So now, let's see. We're going to put this frog back, guys, so everybody say goodbye to the frog. How do you say goodbye to the frog? Yeah, you remember us. Everybody raise your right hand And say, I promise.
I promise
To always. Read 20 books. About my pets. Before I get them. After seeing so much, I'm so glad our children got a chance to learn more without getting dirty in the pond again. Hey you guys, it's research time, and now we're gonna look up facts about bullfrogs that we saw in the swamps earlier today. Oh, you know which one this is? Bullfrog. Want to learn more about bullfrogs and other animals you saw in today's show? Visit your local library. It's been an awesome experience looking for tadpoles with our kids here, and make sure you always respect nature and enjoy. Bye! Wildlife Kids! I'm standing here in the middle of a pond right now, which is home to a plethora of reptiles, amphibians, and many species of animals. That's awesome. Hey, you guys, look, there's a turtle. It's a painted turtle. You want to see it? Yeah, it's a painted turtle.